You operate under the illusion that you can distinguish a faithful partner from a future betrayer. You judge by her gentle demeanor, her soft-spoken nature, the way she echoes sentiments of love and commitment. You're looking at a carefully constructed facade. You accept her words at face value, oblivious to the constant stream of contradictory transmissions from her subconscious, her core identity. These are the cues most men are blind to, incapable of interpreting until the damage is irreversible. Today, that changes. I'm not offering you mere advice. I am handing you the key to a cipher, a lens that will let you see beyond the performance she stages for you, and into the reality of who she is. We will not categorize women as good or evil. Instead, we will explore two fundamental psychological blueprints, two archetypes that govern all their actions. The first archetype is the Empress. Her mission is to forge a dynasty with you. Your triumphs are her triumphs. Your fortress is her fortress. She is the co-architect of your shared legacy. The second archetype is the Courtesan. Her mission is to indulge in the luxuries of the court while the king remains powerful and provides for her. She does not build the dynasty. She siphons its vitality. The moment the vessel bearing the standard of a more affluent ruler appears, her allegiance will dissipate like a morning haze. This is not a question of ethics. It is a question of instinct, a primordial software installed at the core of her being. And today, you will learn to decode this software through 12 hidden signals that therapists ignore and that women actively conceal. But be warned, this knowledge is potent and not for the faint of heart. It will dismantle your cherished illusions. Watching only part of this will arm you with a dangerous, incomplete understanding. The ultimate key, the 12th signal which serves as the final, definitive test, will be revealed only at the very end. For this reason, I ask you to like this video now. And if this is your first time here, and you are committed to pursuing undiluted truth, subscribe immediately. And before we proceed, I'm eager to map our community. Please comment with the city you're from. Let's visualize the global reach of this knowledge. Act 1. The social reconnaissance. This is the initial phase of our analysis. We are not yet delving into intimacy or deep psychological profiles. We are merely observing her engagement with the world, with you, and with your accomplishments. It is here, within her social responses, that the earliest and most authentic markers of her core wiring are found. And the very first is the most telling dot signal number 1. Her response to your victory. Picture the scene. You return home to announce a significant achievement. It could be anything: securing a major client, getting a promotion, or successfully launching a venture you've poured months into. This is your moment of glory. And here, in the initial seconds of her response, everything is revealed. The woman wired as the courtesan will appear ecstatic. Her eyes will light up. A broad smile will spread across her face. She might even leap into your arms. But her elation is that of a consumer who has just been granted a credit line increase. Her mind, in that instant, is not processing the arduous path you took to this victory, but rather the new luxuries now within her grasp. A new wardrobe, a lavish vacation, the social currency to outshine her friends. Her language will revolve around I, and now we can. At last, we can book that trip to Bali. I've been dreaming about that handbag. She isn't celebrating your achievement. She is celebrating the expansion of her personal acquisition power. This is a perfect example of what Freud termed the leisure principle, an immediate, primal urge for self-gratification. And this is where most men falter. They misinterpret her excitement as love, completely missing its transactional, predatory core. A woman wired as the Empress responds from a completely different place. Her elation is that of a co-conspirator, a fellow strategist in the victory. Even if she played no direct role in your endeavors, she was the bedrock of your emotional support system. She is aware of the cost of this success, the sleepless nights, the immense pressure, the personal sacrifices. Consequently, her initial reaction centers on you, not on the spoils of your win. Her expression will be one of profound pride in you as a man. Her words will be about you. I never doubted you for a moment. I am so incredibly proud of you. No one deserves this more. She doesn't ask what new possessions you can acquire. In your success, she sees not material gain, but the validation of your strength and vision, the very bedrock of the kingdom you are building together. Her response originates from a more sophisticated psychological nexus, what the brilliant Carl Jung might identify as the ally archetype, one who seeks a shared journey upward, not a personal benefit. It is in this subtle yet profound distinction that the abyss between a lifelong partner and a high-end freeloader is exposed. Signal number 2, her response to your defeat now. Let's flip the scenario. The moment of truth is revealed not only in glory, but also in failure. You come home after a catastrophic defeat. You've lost a substantial amount of money. A critical deal has collapsed. Your enterprise is under threat. You are at your most vulnerable. And it is in this moment that all masks are cast aside. The courtesan, upon hearing the grim news, enters a state of quiet but tangible resentment. Her internal alarm, calibrated to align with the strongest, most resourceful male, begins to blare. Your defeat, to her, is not a shared crisis. It is a direct threat to her comfort and security. She may offer a perfunctory display of sympathy, but it will feel hollow and scripted. Within hours or days, you will start to feel the sting of her subtle criticisms, her passive aggression, the ice in her tone. She will pose questions designed to assign blame. I had a bad feeling about this. So, what's your brilliant plan now? Her body will also betray her. She'll recoil from your touch. Her hugs will become brief, almost clinical. In her subconscious, you have shifted from being an asset to a liability, and she instinctively begins to withdraw, ensuring the sinking ship does not pull her under. She will spend more time with friends, more time on her phone. She is already subconsciously scouting for her next opportunity, even if she denies it to herself. This is a ruthless biological response, and your job is not to be wounded by it, but to recognize it for what it is. The Empress, in your moment of defeat, becomes your shield. Her first response is not resentment, but resolve. She instinctively knows the kingdom is threatened, and her place is beside the king in his war council, not in her chambers lamenting her downgraded lifestyle. She will suspend her own agenda. She will sit beside you, pour a drink, and ask the single question that separates a partner from a parasite. What is our first move? Take note of that word, our. In that instant, she deliberately and wholeheartedly takes on your burden, transforming your defeat into a shared mission. She will not offer you empty reassurances or a list of your failings. Instead, she will become your historian, reminding you of past battles won. She will become your resolve, holding faith in you, even when your own is failing. Her support is not a dramatic emotional display, but a quiet, unshakable force. She might simply take your hand, and in that gesture, you will find more strength than in 1,000 well-intentioned words. Because her wiring is that of a builder. And a builder knows that a fortress's true strength is revealed in a siege, not on a peaceful day. To her, your defeat is not an ending, but a necessary test to strengthen the walls of your shared legacy. Signal number 3, her confidential. Circle disregard everything a woman tells you about herself. Instead, conduct a thorough analysis of her closest friends. Her confidential circle is a precise reflection of her true north values and hidden aspirations. The courtesan's friends are, for all intents and purposes, her investment committee. Their primary function is perpetual evaluation and appraisal. They appraise you, your earning potential, your generosity, your social standing. Their conversations are like a portfolio review. They compare their male assets, showcase recent gains, and debate which one offers a better return on investment. When your woman returns from their company, she is recalibrated to their value system. She may become more demanding, easily displeased, and will begin to draw unfavorable comparisons between you and her friend's provider. These women do not foster mutual support in relationships. They engage in a proxy war for status through their men. If her friend receives a new luxury item from a partner, expect to soon hear a subtle jab about how your own provisions are falling behind. It is a corrosive ecosystem that constantly reinforces the courtesan's core belief. She is a valuable asset in a competitive marketplace, and her objective is to maximize her value. If your stock tumbles in the estimation of this committee, they will be the first to advise her to liquidate her position and find a more promising venture. The Empress's circle is organized around a starkly different principle. Her friends are collaborators, not competitors. They are whole, self-reliant women, each cultivating her own life, passions, and principles. When they convene, their discussions revolve around concepts, creative projects, literature, and personal growth, not the market value of their men. They champion each other's development, not their consumption habits. Such a friend, upon learning of your shared struggles, would not tell your woman to cut her losses, but would ask, "What can I do to support you both?" These are women who honor the sanctity of another's relationship. They refrain from unsolicited advice and do not view you as a financial statement. To them, you are the man their friend has chosen, and they extend their respect to that choice unconditionally. This kind of environment empowers your woman, enriching her with wisdom and stability. She returns from these friends not with a new checklist of material desires, but with renewed energy or a fresh perspective, because her tribe is composed of creators, not opportunists. This stands as one of the most reliable external indicators of her internal composition. Signal number 4. Her handling of male attention you are at a social function, a dinner, an event. You observe another man directing his attention toward her. His gaze is fixed. He offers a compliment. He tries to initiate a conversation. Her conduct in this moment is a litmus test of her fidelity. The courtesan leverages such attention as a strategic tool. She defaults to one of two plays. The first is a conspicuous display of flirtation. She will become coy. Her laughter will be a touch too loud. Her eye contact overly suggestive. Her intent is not to be unfaithful in that moment. Her intent is to artificially inflate her market value in your eyes. It is a subconscious broadcast. See how desired I am. You must work harder to keep me, or another will take your place. She fabricates a competitive threat to keep you off balance, to stimulate a greater investment from you. The second play is a melodramatic performance of loyalty, but weaponized against you. She might loudly and publicly rebuff the admirer, only to later create a scene for you. Did you see him harassing me? And you did nothing to defend my honor. The objective is identical, to showcase her virtue, while simultaneously indicting you for your lack of possessiveness, thereby inciting you to be more controlling. In every case, external male attention is, for her, a raw material for manipulation and strategic games. The Empress's response is governed by a different logic, entirely one of serene confidence and self-respect. When another man directs his attention to her, she responds with polite, detached brevity. She will neither make a show of humiliating him, nor will she reward the flirtation. Her behavior communicates a simple, potent message. I am aware, I am uninterested, and I am with my partner. She might instinctively close the physical gap between you, taking your arm, leaning into you. This is a nonverbal signal of allegiance, universally understood. She does not use this situation as an opportunity to prove a point to you. Her sense of self is not dependent on the validation of external admirers. In fact, she may even interpret the man's attention as a compliment to your good taste. In her reality, it simply affirms that you are with a woman of quality. She perceives no threat and no opportunity for strategic advantage. She sees it as a fleeting social dynamic, utterly irrelevant to the foundation of your bond. Her loyalty is not a performance to be staged and applauded. It is an unwavering state of being. And as such, it has no need for external validation or manufactured drama. Act 2. The intimate examination. We now advance to the most profound and truthful level of analysis. Here, within the intimate space of the bedroom, words are rendered meaningless. All that remains are instincts, energies, and unvarnished intentions. A woman's behavior during intimacy is not merely physiological. It is a direct printout of her psychological wiring. And though she may successfully perform a role in the social arena, here, at the zenith of emotion, her subconscious speaks with absolute candor. One must simply learn to listen. Signal number 5. The true motive for connection. Before the physical act, there is always a catalyst, a reason that brought you together. This reason is the master key. For the courtesan, intimacy is an instrument to fulfill one of 3 objectives. The first is simple physical gratification. It is a form of recreation, exercise, a mechanism for stress relief. While not inherently negative, it is the most superficial level. The second objective is the validation of her power and desirability. She needs to witness your craving, your adoration, your surrender of control. This is sustenance for her ego. Her pleasure is derived less from the act itself and more from the confirmation of her dominance over you. The third and most calculating objective is service as a transaction. She may wield intimacy as a reward for your good behavior or as collateral against future desires. You give her a gift. She becomes exceptionally ardent. You displease her. You receive a cold, mechanical fulfillment of duties. In all these instances, sex for her is a form of currency, a physical event detached from any true emotional bond. For the Empress, intimacy is invariably the continuation of a dialogue. It is the apex of an emotional merger, the crescendo of the connection you have built throughout the day or week. Her aim is not merely to experience physical pleasure, but to achieve a state of ultimate oneness with you, to dissolve the boundaries between you. For her, sex is a language that transcends words. It is how she communicates her vulnerability, her trust, her devotion. She initiates intimacy not from a sense of need, but from an overflow of affection, gratitude, or a simple, profound desire to be as close to you as possible. She does not use sex for leverage. For her, it is a sacred ritual, a sacrament in which 2 individuals become a single entity. Consequently, her passion is always infused with tenderness, and her satisfaction is intrinsically linked to yours. She cannot experience the ultimate pleasure unless she feels you are in perfect harmony, that your spirits are as intertwined as your bodies. This is the crucial distinction. For one, sex is a sport or a business transaction. For the other, it is a form of poetry and magic. Signal number 6. The narrative of her kiss. A kiss is the most revealing exchange between a man and a woman, far more so than the sexual act itself. A kiss involves the face, the eyes, the breath, elements that defy complete conscious control. And the narrative of a kiss is always true. The courtesan's kiss is often technically impressive, passionate, and memorable. She may be adept with her tongue. She may bite your lip. She may perform all the moves seen in films. Yet her kiss is hollow. It is a performance, not an expression of feeling. She is not kissing you. She is kissing your expected reaction. She is preoccupied with the quality of her performance. Her kiss may be aggressive, possessive, as if staking a claim, but it will be devoid of the essential ingredients. tenderness, and a genuine search for connection. It is a kiss that takes, not one that gives. Its focus is on technique, not on emotion. If you close your eyes and tune into the subtle energies, you will sense that her focus is entirely on herself, on showcasing her prowess rather than on merging with you. The Empress's kiss tells a completely different story. It may lack a certain choreographed perfection, but it will always feel authentic and alive. Her kisses are gentle, profound, and inquisitive. She is not attempting to create an impression. She is attempting to feel you, to understand your state of being. Her kiss is a question. How are you? It is a comfort. I am here. It is an expression of gratitude. Thank you for being you. There is always an element of vulnerability in her kiss, as if she is granting you access to her soul. It will not always be a display of fiery passion. At times it may be brief and soft, a mere whisper of contact. At other times it may be long and deep, a moment where time itself seems to pause. But it will always be defined by its core purpose, an exchange of emotional energy. She offers you her energy and receives yours in return. This is a kiss that does not merely grace the lips. It touches the very core of your being. And if you can learn to differentiate a kiss as performance from a kiss as dialogue, you will possess one of the most reliable codes to her true nature. It is this level of insight you will find in all of my work. If this resonates with what you have been seeking, there is no better moment to subscribe. Signal number 7. Eye contact at the climax, a moment of peak pleasure. The climax is a moment of unassailable truth. For these few seconds, all social conditioning falls away and the authentic self is revealed. Where her gaze falls in this moment speaks more truth than a library of books. The courtesan, at the point of orgasm, will almost invariably break eye contact. She may shut her eyes, tilt her head back, or look away. The reason? Mentally, she is not with you. She is fixated on her own physical experience, riding her own wave. She is experiencing pleasure, but she is not sharing it with you. For her, this is a solo journey. There is another, more chilling variation. She may look directly at you, but her gaze is detached and analytical. She is monitoring your reaction, assessing the impact of her passionate display. This is not the gaze of a partner, but of a puppeteer observing the effectiveness of his strings. There is no union, no vulnerability, only control and self-gratification. The Empress, at the moment of climax, will instinctively seek out your gaze. It is a primal need for her to see your face, to look into your eyes, to share the pinnacle of this emotion with you. For her, the peak of pleasure is not simply a physiological release. It is the moment of absolute, total union. And she needs the confirmation that you are experiencing it together. Her gaze in this moment may be unfocused, unguarded, and profoundly vulnerable. It is as if she is communicating without words. Behold, this is the real me, and my trust in you is so complete that I can reveal myself in this moment of total surrender. This meeting of the eyes transforms a physical act into a transcendent experience. You become one, not just in body, but in spirit. She does not fear revealing her weakness, for she trusts you to protect it. She is not managing the situation. She is surrendering to it. And this shared gaze, this silent, mutual witnessing of a shared ecstasy, is the most certain sign that her heart and her body are in the same place with you. Signal number 8. The authenticity of her vocalizations, performance, or reality. This is arguably the most sensitive and delicate indicator, and also the most damning. Men are often conditioned to interpret loud, perfect moans as proof of a woman's intense passion, and by extension, their own sexual prowess. This is a profound miscalculation. The courtesan often stages an elaborate auditory performance. Her moans are rhythmic, melodic, and sound suspiciously like those in adult entertainment. They follow a predictable theatrical arc. She vocalizes because it is expected. She knows this excites men, that it serves as validation of their performance. Her vocalizations are a tool of manipulation. She can use them to hasten your climax if she is bored, or conversely, to make you feel like a god of sex, thus making you more compliant and generous later. These sounds are consciously manufactured. They originate not from the core of her body, but from her mind. It is a soundtrack she provides to enhance the realism of the scene. This is not ecstasy. This is acting. The genuine sounds of the Empress's pleasure are of a different quality altogether. They are unrestrained, primal, and authentic. They are not melodic moans, but rather broken, ragged breaths, soft whimpers, and short, involuntary cries that she cannot suppress. Her body is reacting faster than her conscious mind can censor. She might even try to stifle these sounds with her hand, feeling a sense of embarrassment at her own lack of control. She is not thinking about how she looks or sounds. She is utterly lost in the moment, in the sensations, in the shared energy between you. Her sounds are not a performance for your benefit. They are the direct, unfiltered broadcast of her ecstasy. This is a sign of her absolute trust in you, that she feels safe enough to completely surrender control, to be utterly vulnerable and real. And once you learn to distinguish a staged production from the raw, documentary footage of her body's response, you will never again be deceived about the authenticity of her feelings. Signal number 9. Her demeanor immediately following intimacy. The act is complete. The energetic crescendo has passed. And here, in the moments immediately following, another critical test unfolds. What is her first move once the passion has cooled? The courtesan, for whom intimacy was either a form of sport or a service rendered, will seek to sever the emotional connection as swiftly as possible. Her most frequent and telling action is to turn away and reach for her phone. The mission has been accomplished. The transaction is closed. It is time to re-engage with her own world, to check her social feeds, to respond to her friends. Alternatively, she may abruptly pivot to logistical matters. Did you remember to transfer the money for the bills? We're out of milk. In doing so, she effectively desecrates the sacred space you just shared, reducing it to the level of a mundane chore. She has no need for the emotional resonance of the afterglow. She has obtained her objective, be it physical release or the satisfaction of a duty performed, and she is now closing the file. Her body was present with you, but her spirit has already departed. The Empress's behavior is the polar opposite. For her, the conclusion of the act is not an end, but the beginning of the most tender and meaningful phase of your connection. She will instinctively seek continued physical contact. She will press against you, rest her head on your chest, entwine her fingers with yours. These moments of quiet affection, of gentle embraces, of soft kisses, are vital to her. She will want to speak, but not of logistics. She will want to whisper affections, to share the sensations of the moment, to listen to the rhythm of your heart. For her, these after moments are a way to solidify and anchor the profound emotional merger you just experienced. She is in no rush to return to the mundane world. She wishes to extend the magic. It is in these moments that she feels most secure and open. And if a woman's first instinct after lovemaking is to reach for your hand, not for her phone, you can be certain you are with a woman for whom a relationship is not a series of functions, but a deep and all-encompassing bond. Act 3, the psychological assessment. We have analyzed her social responses and audited her intimate behaviors. We now arrive at the final act, the examination of her core mindset, her psychological architecture, the way she frames her past, her respect for your autonomy, and most critically, her reaction to your moments of weakness will deliver the final, incontrovertible judgment as to whether you are with a steadfast empress or a transient courtesan. Signal number 10. Her narrative of the past one day. Ask her to speak about her former relationships. The purpose is not to indulge in jealousy or to excavate old dramas. The purpose is to listen to the role she casts for herself in the story of her own life. The courtesan will, almost without exception, recount the same basic narrative, with only the names and minor details changed. In her telling, all of her ex-partners were monsters, narcissists, tyrants, who failed to value her and left her broken. She, in this narrative, is the perpetual, blameless victim of fate. She will never acknowledge her own contributions to the dynamic, her own errors in judgment. She was the flawless partner who was simply not cherished as she deserved. This victim identity is a glaring psychological red flag. Firstly, it signals an inability to self-reflect and learn from past experiences, meaning she is doomed to repeat her patterns. Secondly, and more critically, while you are fulfilling your role as her generous and attentive provider, you are her rescuer. However, the moment you encounter difficulties or fail to live up to her ever-shifting expectations, you will be unceremoniously added to her list of monsters, and she will begin her search for a new rescuer. Her life story is a chronicle of injustices done to her, which means she feels no true ownership of her own life. The Empress discusses her past in a completely different key. She may acknowledge that she has endured difficult and painful relationships. However, she will speak of her former partners either with neutrality or even with a measure of respect for the lessons learned. Crucially, she will always accept her share of the responsibility. You may hear her say things like, "He was certainly in the wrong, but I was also very naive at the time," or ultimately, "We were incompatible and wanted different things," or "I made my own share of mistakes in that relationship." This is the hallmark of a psychologically mature individual. She understands that a relationship is a dynamic created by two people. She does not outsource the responsibility for her own happiness. She is the author of her story, not a victim in it. This demonstrates that she is capable of growth, evolution, and learning. And it provides you with the assurance that when problems arise in your relationship, she will look for solutions within herself and within the us, rather than simply assigning blame to you. A woman who can own her past is a woman who can build a healthy future. Signal number 11. Her respect for your sovereignty. Every man possesses a fundamental need for his own space. This can manifest as time spent in solitude, pursuing a hobby, or gathering with friends. This is not a luxury. It is a basic psychological requirement for mental and emotional restoration. A woman's attitude toward this need is a powerful diagnostic tool. The courtesan views your personal sovereignty as a personal affront. When you express a desire to spend an evening alone or to join your friends for an event, she interprets this not as your need, but as your rejection of her. Are you tired of me? Am I not enough for you? She will constantly probe and attempt to breach these boundaries. She might call you incessantly when you are with your friends. She may spontaneously appear at the place where you go to be alone. She demands unrestricted access to every facet of your life, your phone, your private thoughts. This is not love. It is a bid for absolute control. In her reality, you are not a separate person, but her possession, a resource that must be constantly monitored. Her aim is to absorb you completely, to suffocate your individuality, thereby making you dependent and easily controlled. The Empress understands and honors your right to personal space. She knows that time spent apart can actually strengthen a relationship, creating the space to miss one another and to recharge individual energies. She does not perceive your need for solitude as a threat to her. On the contrary, she values your wholeness and self-sufficiency. She, too, has her own interests, her own pursuits, a life that does not entirely orbit around you. She has faith in you. She does not need to surveil your every move, to feel secure in your commitment. She grants you freedom and breathing room because she understands that a man who returns to her by choice is infinitely more valuable than one held captive on a short leash. Respect for personal boundaries is the ultimate sign of respect for you as an individual. She is not seeking to possess you. She is seeking a partnership with an equal. And only in such a partnership, one that honors both I and you, can a truly resilient and powerful we be forged. Signal number 12, her response to your vulnerability. And now we have reached the final, most definitive, and most merciless test. All 11 preceding signals could potentially be ambiguous, cleverly disguised, or misinterpreted. But this one never. This is the moment of absolute truth, the one that rips away every mask and exposes her raw, instinctual core. It is the moment you permit yourself to reveal your weakness. Not a professional setback, but a profound human vulnerability. Perhaps you confide in her a deep-seated fear from your childhood. Admit to a crippling lack of confidence before a crucial decision, or simply allow tears of exhaustion and helplessness to fall. You remove your armor and reveal not the king, but the man. Her reaction in this single second is the final judgment. The courtesan, upon witnessing your weakness, will experience an instinctual wave of contempt and disgust. Her primal brain, her reptilian core, receives an urgent message. The alpha is faltering. The resources are in jeopardy. The ship is taking on water. She may attempt to conceal this reaction with placating words of support, but her body will betray her. Her eyes will grow cold. She will create a subtle physical distance. Her touch will feel obligatory. She will be unable to prevent the fleeting micro-expression of disdain that crosses her face. For her core programming, your vulnerability is not a trigger for compassion, but a signal to abandon ship. From this point forward, her respect for you as a man is gone. In her eyes, you are no longer the impenetrable wall that protects her. You have become the problem, and she will begin her search for a new, more fortified wall. This test is infallible because it bypasses her conscious mind entirely, striking directly at the nucleus of her programming. And if that programming is geared toward seeking strength and resources, your weakness is, for her, the end of the game. The Empress's reaction will be the absolute inverse. The moment you reveal your vulnerability, she will not retreat. She will advance. She will move to cover your unguarded flank. Her instinct is not that of a consumer, but of a guardian of her hearth, her man, her kingdom. She will interpret your weakness not as a threat, but as the ultimate bestowal of trust. The fact that you have chosen to be vulnerable with her, and only her, is the highest honor you can pay her. She will not judge you or offer glib solutions. She will embrace you, provide a sanctuary for your tears, and create a safe harbor where you can lay down your armor and simply be. In this moment, she transforms from your woman into your stronghold. Her love is not a reward for your strength. It is a sacred alliance of two souls, pledged to support one another in both triumph and in despair. And it is in this moment that you will finally understand that the woman beside you is not merely a companion, but your most unshakable ally, one who will fight for you until the very end. This is the ultimate, unforgettable code of loyalty. Conclusion. A matter of design, not of chance, we have now dissected 12 shocking but veracious distinctions. It should be clear that loyalty or betrayal is not a random act, born of a fleeting moment of weakness. It is the inevitable output of a deep, pervasive internal wiring that reveals itself in countless subtleties every single day. It is in how she celebrates your victories, how she weathers your defeats, how she kisses you, how she meets your gaze at the peak of intimacy, and most critically, how she responds to your deepest vulnerability. Cease listening to declarations of eternal love. Words are the most easily counterfeited currency. Start observing. Start analyzing. Use these 12 signals as your cipher to determine who stands before you. An empress, prepared to build an empire at your side and defend your back in battle, or a courtesan, who is merely enjoying the festivities in your palace until a more enticing invitation arrives. This is not a game of chance. You now possess the knowledge, and knowledge is power. The power to choose with clarity and to build your life with a woman who will be your fortress, not just another fissure in it. I have shared this cipher with you, but I recognize that this community is a council of men with profound life experience. Therefore, the final question is for you. Which of these 12 signals has, in your own life, proven to be the most honoring, the most infallible indicator? Or perhaps you have discovered your own, a 13th signal that I have not mentioned? Share your story and your wisdom in the comments. Let us compile, beneath this video, a grand repository of life's truths for all who are seeking them.